Hi guys, Sandy Ingram here. Welcome. This video is one of the most important videos that this channel has ever uploaded. For the longest, we have been talking about banking reform in Iraq. And most of us believed, I know I did, that all it took was just updating to high tech, the high tech component, adding that to the Iraqi banking system. Well, as it turns out, not only was I incorrect in that belief, but many other people were as well. And the bottom line is, Islamic banking is very, very different than Western banking. And in this video, we're going to talk about those differences and how those differences have been subtly swept under the rug. The Western news cycle has not talked about it. So grab your beer, your coffee, your tea, whatever, because this is going to take a moment. You ready? Let's get started. What I'm about to share with you will explain why the Iraqi banking system is taking so long to integrate with the global banking infrastructure. Even U.S. bankers did not offer up this information as a news item. Now, guys, I understand why the Iraqi news never really wanted to explain the difference in the banking system. They enjoy keeping us in the dark. In fact, the less we understand, the longer they can stall taking our tax dollars and not adjusting the value of their currency. Plus, it's just out and out fun for them to see us confused. However, there is another side of the coin. The Western news media perhaps didn't report on what I'm about to explain to you because, well, let's just say that the Islamic way of banking just might be more favorable for many people. Please don't tell anyone that I said that. Just in case the explanation is still a little fuzzy, the channel has an extensive article on the channel's blog. It has pictures and step-by-step explanation of the differences between the Islamic banking and the Western world banking. And guys, it's different. It's really, really different. First, let me say Happy New Year to those of you who are of non-Asian descent. China doesn't celebrate the New Year until February 17th. So after the 17th of February, we will all be on the same page. The images you see on your screen are New Year's celebrations in Iraq. The weather was chilly during the holidays in Iraq, which celebrates Christmas on the 25th, a public holiday. And the New Year's is also on January 1st with the rest of the Western world. Now take a look and a listen to the channel's voiceover to understand what's at stake. But before you do, this is a serious example of why the channel uses the voiceover. The type of banking we are talking about is pronounced differently, and there is no need for me to mess up the pronunciation.
Mudharaba.
Mudharaba. Mudharaba.
For IQD investors, Iraq's banking reform can best be understood as trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Western banking systems are built on interest, debt, and guaranteed returns, while Iraq's banking structure is largely based on Islamic finance, which prohibits interest and instead relies on risk-sharing, asset-backed transactions, and real economic activity. International financial policies created by institutions such as the IMF, the BIS, and global correspondent banks assume interest-based lending, predictable loan structures, and standardized repayment models. Islamic banking does not naturally fit into these assumptions, which creates a structural conflict rather than a lack of effort or compliance by Iraq. Because of this mismatch, the Central Bank of Iraq cannot simply adopt Western banking rules without risking serious instability. A sudden shift would disrupt domestic banks, violate long-standing financial and religious principles, undermine public trust, and potentially trigger capital flight. Instead, the CBI must carefully redesign its banking framework to operate within international systems while preserving Islamic banking principles. This involves creating parallel compliance structures, adjusting regulations, modernizing payments, and gradually integrating global standards without relying on interest-based income. This is why banking reform in Iraq is proceeding more slowly than usual. For investors watching the Iraqi dinar, this matters because currency value depends on system strength, not speed. Before any sustainable currency adjustment can occur, Iraq must have a banking system capable of handling international capital flows, meeting compliance requirements, supporting trade, and maintaining domestic confidence. What appears to be a delay is actually a methodical process of alignment, ensuring that Iraq's financial system can support long-term stability rather than a short-lived currency move. For informed IQD investors, patience is not passive. It reflects an understanding that durable reform takes time when two fundamentally different financial systems must be carefully aligned. Key countries utilizing the Mudaraba banking system. The Mudaraba contract, a profit-sharing agreement, is a core component of Islamic finance and is offered in countries where Sharia-compliant banking operates alongside or in place of conventional banking systems. Countries with significant Islamic banking sectors where Mudaraba is used include Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, who actively promotes Islamic banking and uses Mudaraba, particularly on the deposit side, Iran, where Mudaraba is one of the primary modes of financing, Sudan. All Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, countries, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and Oman, all have substantial Islamic banking assets and offer Mudaraba-based products. The system is also present in Bangladesh, Turkey, Jordan, Djibouti, Palestine, and even some non-Muslim countries like the UK, the US, and Canada, where Islamic financial windows or specific banks operate. While many countries use the Mudaraba system, its application varies in practice. Islamic banking accounts for only about 1% of total global banking assets, primarily concentrated in Muslim-majority nations in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. This 1% matters to us, IQD investors, because we are looking for a return on our investment in the IQD. Do not take this information as a negative. This is us understanding our investment. This is a positive.